G'day everyone, it's Drew Agnew here from the House of Mario podcast. I hope you're going well, and thank you very much for clicking on this little bonus, whatever you want to call it, called update. Just giving you guys a bit of an update about where the show's been for the last 3 weeks. Usually we don't take any time off. I quite like to pride myself on, never taking a week off, even if I don't have a co-host or I need to go and grab a guest or whatever. I try to strive for consistency, so the people that really do care about the show and enjoy it, and maybe even rely on it to get through a certain part of the day or a tough time, something to listen to. Because there are certain times in my life too where I rely on certain shows or even TV shows or games or whatever have you as a bit of a distraction to help myself through certain situations or whatever have you. And to be honest, the last couple of days has been a situation like that for me, but I'll get into that a little bit later. If you just want a quick update, the show isn't going away. We'll be back within a couple of weeks, I believe. We'll get our stuff back in order and start up the show again. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl come out this week. I will be playing it over the weekend, so I'm really looking forward to that. Just a basic Pokemon game, nice and familiar, sort of distract myself. But yeah, we'll be talking about that and all that. So have no fear. The House of Mario hasn't died. It's not going away. Bryce and I haven't had like a big heated debate where we're not going to talk to each other again. We still love each other. I saw him yesterday. We had a nice catch up. But sort of the reasoning behind it is just the lead up to the holidays, November, December. They've always been hard historically for me. And Bryce as well. I know Bryce feels the same way. We talked about it a bit yesterday. But a couple of years ago, and this seems to happen a fair few years actually. It's just like, shearing season. It seems to run me down and, get me quite depressed. And there was a couple of years ago where I actually recorded a bit of an update on Patreon actually. Our Patreon at patreon.com/iDruby. I actually recorded a bit of a thing for the patrons there where I just sort of like had to explain what was going on. But what it turned into was actually great therapy for me to actually get my emotions out there, think about it, and actually talk about it. I'm a typical guy. Someone's like, "Oh, what's wrong?" I'm like, "Nothing." So, me sitting by myself in a room and forcing myself to actually talk about it into a microphone was really great for me. And I think that might be what this might be. Not to the same extent. I was quite bad back then. It was hard to get out of bed. I'm not like that at the moment. Over the weekend, the last couple of days, I've had a nightmare of a weekend. That isn't why the show's disappeared, but it's definitely not helping it come back right now. For example, we might have recorded an episode this week, but I'm definitely not in the mindset. But, I guess I don't want to keep anyone hanging I can't just tease it like that. But over the weekend, my dog got ran over, which was just an absolute nightmare. She was only young. She was only about 2.5 years old and just absolutely devastated. My partner and I. The amount of pain is just, it's kind of insufferable at the moment. And I wish I could have started that day again and just not have to witness it or anything like that. So I've had a couple of days off. I'm on my second day off. It's a Tuesday at the moment. Sort of getting my head back in order, but just trying my best to distract myself, whether it's YouTube videos, movies, or games. So that is a big reason why I wanted to make this update. It's just like, there's people out there, and I really do appreciate this, who have reached out to me or whatever have you, who are in my situation. Whether it is, you're on a farm and your local community aren't like big nerds into tech or video games, and your escapism into conversations about the medium that you absolutely love and probably at times you're a bit too obsessed about if you're anything like me. It's the only sort of way into it. And I know, like, for Australians, for example, you might be like, yes, I've got like, I'm subscribed to the IGN podcast. I'm subscribed to Kind of Funny and, just like a bunch of American podcasts. And that's great. I love them too. Don't get me wrong. But I think just having it from a different perspective of, someone who, they might be able to relate to is important. Because I think diversity comes from a lot of different things, whether it's obviously cultures or in our case, just like location and sort of context of what it's like to be out in the country and not exactly have like instant access to a Facebook group where you can all meet up at Games Workshop and, play Magic the Gathering. We just don't have that down here. We don't have the option to be like, who else is into Nintendo and just go and meet up necessarily. Because it's just a lot more rare. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's other like Nintendo fans around here, but it's certainly a lot more hard. So, just like that's sort of how I feel, when I'm at sharing and stuff. Just I don't have that like instant connection with, like I like fishing, I like sport and stuff like that, but I don't have that knowledge about where I can just jump into conversations and stuff like that. So it makes it a lot harder to, make friends and all that type of thing. So I do apologize if you are in that boat and you do enjoy this podcast. I really do appreciate anyone and everyone listening to this show. It's a big passion of ours. It's a big hobby. We absolutely love doing it. We've put it personally for me, I've put like a lot of money into getting the gear and making it sound right and a lot of time editing and sort of listening back and seeing what I need to do to improve as far as speaking into a microphone goes. This episode isn't going to be like fantastically spoken either. It's pretty emotional. I think for the most part though, I don't have to go too much into it all today. But I think just as far as like lead up to the holidays, it's always tough, and it's tough keeping the consistency throughout the year. Where there might be periods where we're not as busy. Bryce is always busy. He's got 2 kids. His little boy's approaching school in the next year or so, and he's climbing everything in in their house, and I can only imagine. I'm like, Jesus Christ. At least like when I'm thinking about having my son next year, I'm like, it's at the moment, at least for the first couple of months or whatever, if it's on a table, he won't get to it. But when he's pulling out chairs and climbing onto the table, and I'm, oh my God. But yeah, I think for the most part, we just knew when we needed to pull out and take a break. And it's a shame because we love doing it. We love absolutely sitting down and having that conversation with one another. The House of Mario to me represents, a place where we can all get together and just have fun, share our passion, maybe even critique a little bit, say, hey, Nintendo, what's going on with this Nintendo 64 emulator? Why is it worse than what the community's been doing on Windows for the past 20 years? You can have those conversations as well. But for the most part, we do it because we love video games, we love Nintendo, and we just, we just love talking about it because that's what Bryce and I are good at. Just talking shit. Doesn't mean anyone's going to necessarily like it, but we can certainly talk about it. So, I don't know. I don't know if there's much more to say than that. Just at the moment, I'm just really, really kind of desperate to distract myself because I think, on my phone or whatever, I'm like loading up Mr. Beast videos where, if you don't know Mr. Beast, he's got about 70 million subscribers on YouTube. And he just does videos like, oh my God, I paid this much money to Twitch streamers. I, filled up a pool with jelly or, just like silly stuff like that. And it's just what I need at the moment. Because if I let my mind wander, all I do is get flashbacks of what happened on the weekend, which I don't know. It's going to haunt me for the rest of my life, honestly. Seeing someone I love deeply get affected in that way, and I've got to be honest, just becoming a father early next year, I'm like, it's just scared the shit out of me, honestly. It's like, if I can't look after my dog, what am I going to like looking after a kid? You know, I'm like, holy shit. I was pretty confident up to that point, but Jesus. So, yes. Anyway, I don't want to depress you guys. I've been really, really enjoying Forza Horizon 5. I've been a big fan of the Horizon series since Forza Horizon 2 on Xbox 360. And I've just really, really enjoyed playing that game. It's one of the games I get immersed in, and if I don't look at the time, I'll probably sit there for like 12 hours and just play that game. I can play it forever and ever and ever. It's a lot of fun. I started off the game. There's an achievement for like driving down every road of the map, and there's like 574 roads in the game. Like, the map's huge. So I spent like the first probably 5 hours just literally driving on every road, which was it's fun. It's just got like, and it's a problem I've got too. It's a bit of an OCD problem when it comes to, you know, collectibles in video games or just checklists. And like when Spider-Man came out on PS4, I'm like, well, I'm going to go get all the collectibles, which are backpacks in that game. So I'm just going across the whole map, just collecting all the backpacks. Not even doing the story. It's like, you know, when you're doing races and that, wouldn't you just like, you'd think you just organically drive on every road and, you know, do some cleanup once you've done like a heap of the roads. But no, I'll go and do all the bulletin boards and all that at the start. So yeah, been playing that. I haven't been playing the Switch too much. I've gotten my Switch, I think it's called a Neo Grip from Skull & Co. That's come in for my Switch OLED model. That feels great. I haven't played a whole lot of it. I've a couple of weeks ago, I had a big Metroid playthrough. I'm not quite at the end, but I'm about 3/4 of the way through. I really did enjoy it, but I think at the moment I just need something a bit more simple and a bit more comfort food. So I'm glad Pokemon is out this week. I'm looking forward to that. You know, Diamond and Pearl, they were big games for me. They were basically my second mainline Pokemon game after getting Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald as my first Pokemon games. I can't remember. Yeah, I would have played like Fire Red Leaf Green in between them. So I guess, you know, if you don't want to count them because they're remakes, going into like the DS generation and getting them and waiting for them to come from Japan, which was like, it felt like forever. And I think it was like literally 8 or 12 months between them coming from Japan, then the States, and then to Australia. So I've got some great memories. I've actually got my team laid out from like what my original team was in the original Pearl, which I played through. So looking forward to playing that. That's just going to be good comfort food. It's not going to blow anyone away as far as what's in it. I think a lot of people were expecting like Mega Evolutions and stuff to come back. I'm like, guys, it wasn't going to happen. I swear. Anyway, guys, I'm not going to ramble on too much more. The show will be back in a couple of weeks. We'll be talking about, I guess, Pokemon, all that type of stuff, the news that's going on, a bit of an update as far as how we're going, because I can't leave you hanging about after this. We're going okay. Bryce is going well. He just had some family stuff and some work stuff, some money stuff come up, which puts the stress on the lead up to Christmas with 2 kids and all that. It's just life. I'm sure a lot of you guys are experiencing similar things with work and all of that. And I don't want to project our sort of troubles onto you guys. We do a podcast, which we like doing, which you guys who have found it and that enjoy it, use it as a way to sort of relax and entertain yourselves throughout the day or on the way home or on the way to work. So we appreciate it. If you'd like to join our Discord community, reach out to us. Any more questions, I'll put a link in the show notes for this update. And without further ado, guys, thank you very much. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.